Come on! Hey! Do you believe in life after love? Thursday, August 27th, it's the Breaking and Entering live show marketing news. I'm Jack.
I'm G-Shock.
Yeah, that's what's up. Come on! Big show today, Gino. A lot to talk about. It's presented by Tatari. Got a great guest list today if we want to pull that up. Special guests loading. I mean, Glenn Howerton's joining the show at 12:40 p.m. You might know him as an actor. I know him as the co-founder of Four Walls Whiskey. New campaign out this year promoting Four Walls. Glenn's going to join the show. That's going to be insane. That's one of the biggest guests we've ever had, Gino. We also have another famous person, Antoni Porowski. You know him from the Breaking and Entering show. He comes in every week. We're going to chop it up again. Got some fun things to talk about. And then who else we got coming on, Gino?
Then we got, how do you say their names, Jack?
Tremayne, Gary, and Sollin, Saele.
Tremayne, Gary, and Sollin, Saele are creatives at Mother. Uber's got a new campaign coming out here with Uber Teens work that just came out yesterday. We're going to talk about that with the creators. And Linda Boff, who's a industry legend, Hall of Famer, is the CEO of Said Differently, but spent a lot of time at GE, 20 years there.
Ended up being the global CMO of GE.
So how you go from marketing side to agency side, brand side, agency side, we're going to talk about it, what she thinks about the industry today.
So stay tuned. We can pull up one more time. That's the guest lineup. Just screenshot that if you have to go away for a second. But exciting show. Our first thing to talk about, Gino, I did some field reporting last night.
Yes, you did.
Did some field reporting. We talk about vibes all the time, figuring out what's going on in the world, and then we have the data to back it up. Shout out to Tracksuit, the exclusive data partner of the Breaking and Entering show. I went to this Bumble, I would call it an influencer party. Whatever. I was there.
You got invited.
A little field reporting. It was interesting, just the party. They brought all these people together. This is a picture that I took. This is credit Breaking and Entering Media.
How do you get so, are you like on stilts or your hands all the way up?
No, that's how tall I am.
Do people notice that you're doing this? I see some sailor hats as well. Continue.
Well, listen, there's a lot of people getting a lot of content there. I think that the crowd was a lot of like micro influencers. I think these people that aren't mega stars, they're 20 to 30K followers, I would imagine, in New York City, which I think honestly is a pretty interesting insight.
Yeah.
Because I think for the most part, I don't think any of these people were like paid to come, and I don't know if there's any expectations for content. Obviously, this was a big event, and Bumble put a lot behind it in terms of like budget in the event. But
did you get paid to go?
No, I was not paid to go. No. I was invited. There's, free margaritas.
Free margaritas. I believe there's crab as well.
Yeah, there's crab.
I did get invited as well, everybody. I just want people to know this.
Your thoughts on like this strategy though, like the influencer party, the events, because this is, I had a good taste in my mouth from it because it wasn't like an influencer event in the sense of just getting these massive people, paying them, and being like, make sure you post about how cool Bumble is.
It was organic.
It felt a little bit more organic, and you got some some people that are probably local in New York City and aren't mega stars, just more normal.
I mean, smart. I mean, I feel like Bumble kind of struggling.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have the facts and figures to back it up. Sorry, Tracksuit, but I feel like just from a vibe perspective, people are like on the Hinge or getting onto the Raya. So I don't know. Yeah. I think this is a good move there to get the target demographic talking about Bumble, liking the brand a little bit more. It's a game that you have to keep playing here. Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up. It's boots on the ground. It's activations. It's IRL. I feel like it's a common thread here. But for an app, for like the hard part is, because even I was thinking about while I was there, like, okay, I don't know how effective this will be in eventually getting me if I ever wanted to sign up for Bumble, or because it's just such a different experience. It's like going to a party and meeting people in real life is like kind of the opposite
of what everything it stands for.
Of everything, of like the whole point of Bumble. Someone in the chat said re-downloading Bumble right now.
Hey,
so that's just use code BREAKING when you sign. That's not true, but
add us on Bumble. Is that a thing?
That's someone said congrats on the Bubble date, Jack. Someone in the YouTube chat said that. It was not a date, it was a party, okay? Which, to my point.
I was gonna ask you, was it a singles event? Was that kind of like, was that on the invite? Like, was that kind of the thing, like to get together to meet up to matchmake, or is it more just a vibes curation?
I was worried about that. I was worried if it was gonna be like speed dating. It was not. It was just a party. But honestly, like the experience there felt opposite. It felt like you do what you did last night, go to a party so that you don't have to go on Bumble.
Right. I mean, it's a valid point.
But you don't want to be the app that's like not doing cool stuff.
Right, you look at Hinge and No Ordinary Love campaigns that they've been doing for 3+ years now.
Yeah.
Multiple CMOs have gone through and it continued this campaign with the audiobooks telling the stories of love. Different approach here. They have a broader campaign. I don't know what is Bumble's For the Sake of Love. I think that's
For the
their
love of love, I think.
For the love of love.
Yeah, right.
For crying out loud. Yeah. That's how I interpret that one.
Well, that was my experience. You know, next thing I want to talk about, we got some data. We got some data. Do you want to tee this up?
Tee this up. Labubu's. Just when you thought they're look at that.
Look at it. It looks like you. Oh, it's us.
It's us. Yeah. Labubu's. You might have thought they were gone, but no, they're heating up still. The toy fad was supposed to fizzle, but this one is still climbing. Jack's going over to the green screen right now to give us the tracksuit exclusive data on Labubu.
Yeah,
Let's
go. At this. This is what it's all about. I'm here. We got the data behind me. I'm in the data. I always talk about this. Marketers these days got to be data driven. None of you are in the data like I am.
Yep.
Tracksuit gave us this. It's what's interesting to me. Labubu feels like a trend, a craze, that peaked a couple of years ago. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, you think it was a fad. You think it's gone.
Yeah, you would expect a lot of like toy season, come and go. Like toys, I feel like are such fad-driven things. Labubu is still growing. Awareness up to 47%. I believe, 14% increase here, Gino?
Yeah.
Over the last year. So they're growing in the UK market as well. Toys, Labubus. I see them still all the time, like on Canal Street. People are still selling them. But Labubu's collectibles still have some heat. They're still packing a punch, Gino.
Yep.
You would expect a fade. I believe we had a comparison to the Beanie Babies, Gino. Is that right?
I was looking this up. This is I was thinking about Beanie Babies and how that could also kind of be compared. And Beanie Babies, according to like a random Google search, was like in the zeitgeist for 5 years. We're year 2 right now of Labubu's, and it's growing that awareness in the UK specifically. So if we're looking at the Beanie Baby trend, it's probably not going away for another couple years.
So a couple of more years. Can you imagine? What do you do next if you're Labubu, Gino? I mean, you got the awareness. Obviously, the rest of the funnel should follow suit eventually. You would hope that these numbers continue to grow. So people are going from like someone like me who doesn't just know what a Labubu is. Now I'm buying it for my nieces and nephews. I don't know where you go from there. The collab opportunities I feel like are endless, Gino.
I'll tell you where they go next. How about a Labubu film, Jack?
Oh!
It's in development, directed by the same director that did Paddington. So there's going to be a Labubu movie.
Labubu movie. Labubu 2. That's going to be great when they have Labubu 2. The second boo. That I think is exciting. You follow the Lego playbook, it sounds like there, Gino. Fun fact, David Shingy, advertising marketing legend, said his favorite piece of branded entertainment ever is the Lego movie.
How can you not love the Lego movie? You saw it, Jack. You liked the Lego
Loved it.
movie.
So this is Tracksuit. If you want data like this, check out Tracksuit, the exclusive data partner of Breaking and Entering. Gino, I'm coming back to the studio.
Nicely done, Jack. And want to give a shout out as well to Tatari, our presenting sponsor for the month here. You know them, you love them, but here's the ad read. If you're an agency, you've had this conversation. Your client's maxed out on paid social and search, and they're asking what's next. For a lot of the brands, the answer is TV. But whether your agency is new to TV or already buying CTV, building a complete offering can mean adding more partners, more platforms, more reporting complexity. Tatari gives agencies a simpler way in. Whether you want a full service control or a more hands-on partnership where Tatari's team runs point, you plan, buy, and measure linear TV, streaming, and online video in one platform without handing off the client relationship or building a large specialized TV team.
Yep, you keep the client relationship, create new revenue opportunities, and give clients another scalable channel when their existing media mix starts to plateau. And because Tatari buys directly from publishers, more of the budget goes towards media instead of unnecessary ad tech fees. Today, more than 400 plus brands and agencies trust Tatari to plan, buy, and measure TV. Take DAC, a full funnel media agency that used Tatari to bring linear and streaming together for its clients. They unlocked premium inventory that programmatic buying alone couldn't reach and saw double-digit growth. So when a client asks, what do we do next? You got a better answer. It's Tatari. Go check it out. Link in the comments and the description. Tatari.
TV, Tatari.
Another person that spends some time on TV is our good friend, Antoni Porowski.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Porowski is going to be joining the show in a couple minutes here to talk about some interesting things that are happening, honestly, in the liquor space. And Anthony himself, he doesn't drink, so he doesn't drink. Interesting insights there on this trend of brands, these liquor brands now having to adjust and meet consumers and provide non-alcoholic options. That's obviously a very crowded space. First brand that pops to mind for me, Gino, you think non-alcoholic, 3, 2, 1. Athletic.
Heineken 0-0.
Okay, that was a good little experiment. I said Athletic Brewing.
Oh yeah, that's the OG. I mean, I'm thinking now that all these brands are now hopping on to that zero trend. That's where my mind goes now. But
Yeah.
that's the OG. Like it was built for that.
For sure.
I even think Liquid Death, Jack, to be honest with you, because Liquid Death looks like beer cans.
Yeah, they almost play in that. It's cool to hold a Liquid Death
When you
at a
remember,
party.
if you kind of go back in your memory bank, when you were at a festival, maybe it was Lollapalooza, and you saw Liquid Death, you're like, oh, that must be a beer.
Yeah, exactly.
That must be a beer. But no, it's not.
Well, but the more awareness that they get, honestly, that kind of pushes them back because the more awareness people know that's not. I don't know. Let's bring him in. Antoni Porowski, welcome to the show. How are you doing, you beautiful man?
What's up, boys?
You got a haircut? You look. Is that a cut?
Yeah, I got a little chop.
What do you ask for on the? Because I just got a haircut myself yesterday, and mine does not look like yours.
Yours looks really good. Yours looks actually styled. It's like I feel like August is just one of those. Here's my hot take, okay? Not that anyone asked for it. And I'm gonna come back to the haircut because it's tied to this. August and February are the worst months of the year if you live in a place that has 4 seasons.
Oh,
Because I feel like the air is kind of stale, waiting for the fall. Still too soon for pumpkin spice, although the Martha ad was like freaking genius. I loved it so much. And I just feel like I kind of get like bored and things are just like a little slower. So I just wanted to get a chop, so I chopped it all off.
it's great. That's great. Do you have someone in New York? Do you have like a person that you go to, like a regular, or
All
or does it
offline,
matter?
you guys, cheap and cheerful, easy to get an appointment. He's amazing. It's like a barber type place.
Nice. Okay, cool. That's great. All right, that's a little insight. Antoni, so first off, great to see you. Great to have you back. I actually do want your insight. You did like the pumpkin spice latte Starbucks ad.
Come on, it was so good. Did you
Yeah.
guys, what did you guys think of it?
Well, no, we liked it. It made sense. We talked with the creative, the creative that helped make the ad, the agency behind it, and it makes a lot of sense. Don't you love when like an ad just makes sense to you? It doesn't feel like they just plopped people in
It
it.
makes complete sense because then it just reminded me of Martha's Uber Eats commercial with like the guy with the severed arm, where it was just like she's definitely in on it. It felt like she wrote it in a really good way, and that's only a compliment to the agency that did it. And I just thought I thought, they crushed it. And she was just her, and she's in this position where she can just like do anything. And it's like, and it was also a throwback for anybody who like follows her to like her pool selfie that went like ultra viral, where it's
Yeah.
sort of like, yeah, she's still got it.
She does. She's still got the fastball for sure.
Did you know Belmont went to University of Illinois and is our age?
Oh my
He
gosh,
dropped out.
this
I think
is
he
that
left.
guy.
Yeah.
Wow,
Somebody texted me. He was like, "How do you not know this guy? You went to the same university as him."
Oh my gosh, I was
was
wondering
like-
why the name sounded familiar. Gosh,
yeah.
dang, that's sweet.
Yeah, we got roasted for not knowing that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, let's talk about, we wanted to talk about, this is kind of hit the press earlier today. So the owners of Jameson whiskey, essentially like this is a trend in the liquor category, but it's really slowing in sales. And
down.
a big reason is just consumer preference. Like there's a lot of people that aren't drinking alcohol as much, or they're cutting it out entirely. Antoni, I think you obviously have a great perspective on this, but thinking about, from your point of view, how these liquor brands are thinking about appealing to the non-alcoholic community.
Well, it's a really good question. It's actually something that comes up a lot with my friends. I think a lot of, I mean, Gen Z in particular, but a lot of my millennial friends as well are either sober curious or trying to like pare it down or like kind of going the THC route in their 30s. And I think for alcohol companies, what I'm wondering is like I wish I could just have like a lens into the future to see like is it going to be like cigarettes where it's like okay, we realize they're really bad, like Mad Men, like
Right.
kind of made it look chic, but like they're not, but then they're kind of coming back. And then is that going to be the case with alcohol as well, where we're going to go back and be like, I don't know, maybe it's bad, but like we still enjoy it. That said, I feel like it's kind of like bifurcated into two categories because then you have your adaptogenic wellness. I'm big into mocktails, by the way. I should show you guys my fridge. It's insane. I have tons of canned products and concentrates, and I'm a big fan of them. But it's kind of bifurcated into these adaptogenic wellness drinks that have some kind of magnesium or a reishi or ashwagandha or something. And then there are the other ones who are mimicking alcohol or de-alcoholized wine or spirits that kind of feel like it, but not really. those I feel like, and again, it's personal preference, so I can only speak for myself, but I feel like that's gonna kind of get old. And if you're gonna stop drinking, why do you want to mimic the actual taste of it? Why not go another route and have some other benefits or another like more, less invasive buzz or whatever you want to call it?
It's
Yeah. Do
fascinating.
you think that I don't really see a lot of ready to make mocktails. I see a lot of ready to make cocktails coming from these big liquor brands, but I don't know if they've penetrated with the ready to make mocktails, which just hearing you talk about it right now, Anthony, like it sounds like there is a demand to be kind of a fan of mocktail making or drinking.
Yeah, I mean, I think people who are doing it really right, and she's a friend of mine, like Melanie at Gia, she took the nostalgia of like the Aperol Spritz and the Negroni and that whole French Riviera vibe, literally wrote a cookbook about it, and she created something that kind of reminds you of like the bitterness of those cocktails, but it's its own thing altogether. And the branding is on point. I feel like she's really crushing it, and she has a concentrate and she has little cans. And then there's something like Kin Adaptogenics, for example, that Bella Hadid got involved in a couple of years ago, where they have, 5-HTP and like dopamine stuff and like things that are a little more wellness oriented. So I feel like it's just kind of like splitting into two categories. But also it's in my world because it's I entertain and I serve a shit ton of alcohol, but I always make sure to have just as many mocktail options. And I'm seeing it
Interesting.
at weddings, I'm seeing it at functions where they have an NA section. One part that's frustrating is that I feel like a lot of these NA drinks, they're charging just as much as they are for
Oh yeah.
alcoholic beverages. Because I get
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
restaurants struggle, right? The markup is insane on alcohol. So they kind of have to figure it out. So I feel like we're at a weird place. It's a little bit the wild, wild west, and we're trying to figure out. I'm curious to see where it lands. I think it's going to land somewhere more along the adaptogenic line as opposed to just mimicking alcohol, because next generation is going to be like, we don't even know what alcohol tasted like. So why
Yeah.
do you want to have something that mimics gin or rum, for
So,
example?
so for
Yeah.
you, do you feel like you've experienced this long enough to know where you've kind of landed? Or obviously, I mean, your taste will change and all that, but
Yeah,
like at this point, do you feel like you kind of have landed in that zone that you just described?
definitely. And I mean, I'm definitely more of a maximalist. Like I love to have different options. Like some have caffeine, some have gut health, even, the probiotic, prebiotic ones as well. I I just I do feel like it's here to stay. I've still yet to find sort of like that perfect balance of it's like that whole debate where we were talking about liquid death and what you guys were pointing to, where it's like you have your unflavored sodas that don't taste like anything, but you get like a little whiff of something, and then you have ones that are too sugary. But liquid death, I feel like, has come the closest to it. So I'm curious to see how that's going to kind of shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of the marketing now, it seems like for like even this four walls that we're gonna be talking about with Glenn Howerton later today, and like AB InBev is all about like getting people together and like that kind of like the loneliness factor, and like
Yeah.
Gen Z doesn't see their friends and stuff. So they're kind of marketing towards like get together, have a drink, go out and have fun. You're working too hard, you're not sleeping, like go out with your friends. What do you think? Is that a good response, a good kind of psychological point to hit for these alcohol brands, Antoni?
I mean, for the ones that are doing de-alcoholized, 100%. But then when you think of just the element of like community and gathering for the adaptogenic ones, I could see it taking more of like a wellness front where it's like, this is what you take on your hike, or when you, I don't know, go do something that's a little more like health oriented, an activity that you would do during the weekend, or like a weekend trip with friends or something like that. So it's still all about community, but it's all sort of how that gets like tying it into sort of like nightlife, clubs, bars, and that whole thing. I mean, there it's like energy. So I feel like it can translate pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm almost like the interesting thing is when I feel like people that if the best places where like the mocktail, the non-alcoholic stuff exists is for those like more chill backyard like parties you're doing at your house, because I feel like I've talked to enough people that they don't drink alcohol and they're like going to a bar is the worst experience of all time. Like there's a lot of people who face that are like, I don't want to be at the bar. I know it's like fun or whatever, but when all of my friends are drinking or like all the people that are there are drinking, it's not the same for me. They would much rather just hang out as a group together at someone's house or something.
Right. I mean, that's a whole other conversation. I have friends in New York who have restaurants or had restaurants, and now they've pivoted to having more of a bar type situation. Like my friend Carlos had a place called The Turtle, The Smile on Bond Street. he opened up Ray's a while back, which now has several locations across the country where bars have really become this, it's kind of like shifted into like that bar culture from restaurants.
Yeah. Is there a reason behind that? Is there any sort of particular thing as to why, like, going from restaurant to bar that they've mentioned?
I mean, I think, initially it was probably food costs are so high, pandemic, messed up a lot of things for small businesses in New York and everywhere, literally. And then the markups on alcohol was just a lot higher. And so now I'm curious to see people still definitely want to go out. We don't always want to be sitting at a table and ordering a bunch of food. So it's like, what is that going to turn into? I'm curious to see, like, does it always have to be something that like stimulates our brain and kind of like fucks us up a little bit
Right.
to make it like a little more palatable, or is it going to shift and suddenly that's not going to be the thing? I don't know. I
Yeah,
feel like
that's
I'm always
when
going
you
to want
get
to go out at night.
Yeah, that's why you get the THC drinks, because like you want to feel something, I guess.
Right,
And it's
right.
like, will that always be the case? Is there a world where you find this middle ground? Because to your point, like post-pandemic, I feel like outside of New York City, I feel like the stats probably say that people aren't going to bars as much as they were pre-pandemic. So it's like there's people that want to hang out with other people. We know that's a fact. People want to go out and do stuff. Is there something that's going to fill that white space now of the gap between like the bars and people going to the bars and now they're not going to the bars anymore?
Right.
Super interesting.
It's really interesting. I am very curious to see where it lands, but I'm still in these two categories of like, okay, there are the products that are pretending to be the original thing, and then there's this whole new wellness, you know, some kind of like proprietary like health thing. And they're in like both very separate lanes. So I'm curious to see like which is going to land, or are they just two completely different things that are going to exist independently and still have their success in their own right?
Always interesting. Antoni, thank you so much for joining the show. An absolute pleasure as always. Thank you for the takes. Great takes, by the way.
Great takes. Great
Great
haircut.
takes. You
It's a good topic. Thanks for the hair. I appreciate it.
February and August are
Yep.
Antoni Porowski's two least favorite
There you go.
months. That's going on a graphic, a TMZ style graphic for sure. Antoni, thank you so much.
All right, take care, guys.
Thank you.
Boom. Antoni Porowski, Gino, great person. Great person. Before we bring on our next guest, I want you to know this hit my desk today. Chili's has a golf course location now.
Golf course.
Chili's, you can get a triple bogey and get a triple dipper.
Nice.
On the same day. I stole that line from the ad. I can't.
Oh, really?
I couldn't even try.
Do we know who made it?
Here's the guest lineup, by the way. In a couple minutes, we're going to bring on Tremayne and Sollin. But before that, Chili's, Gino, pop-up golf clubhouse with a rowback partnership. Let's get another brand in there. Why not?
Oh my goodness. Let's see. How is their ad compared to the good?
It's much better.
Good.
It's an interesting time for golf brands right now in marketing. Everyone's got to be thinking, in the wider context. This is why you get plugged in. This is why you have people on your team that are aware of what's happening in the world, not only in their category, but outside of it too. But Gino, your thoughts. Can you imagine playing 18 and then pulling up to the 19th hole and it's a Chili's?
No, I don't think I could, because when I imagine golf courses, and I don't golf at all, I feel like it's isn't it like a clubhouse thing, like a higher target demographic, if you will, higher income? It's like, well, people I don't know about this specific golf course, but when I think golf, I think like a clubhouse, like nice food and stuff, caviar, I don't know.
Yeah, DeBell Golf Club is the golf club. I would be curious. I'm going to look it up right now, because I was going to say, usually I would say you're right, but like if it's like a public course.
Yes, like the Lombard Golf Course.
Yeah, if it's like the Lombard Golf
toss
Course.
the Chili's in there.
If we're talking about like, Chicago Country Club, obviously this would be insane. But I feel like it's definitely going to be, it's in Burbank, California. Just a normal public golf course is kind of what it looks
that
like.
makes much more sense. Yeah, I could see that. Like people are going with your buddies or whatever.
Triple bogey to the triple dipper. I mean, it's just Chili's does stuff like this, and they just continue to like do cool things. They've done a lot. George Felix, the CMO, won Ad Age's CMO of the Year.
Yeah.
I believe last year. And Chili's is one of the big success stories in the restaurant category.
Now the question is, are we going to see more Chili's on more golf courses across the country?
Oh, this is a great. You test it. You test it once, and then do you see it's like the A&W mixed with the KFC.
Of course. And then are you going on like the 9th hole? Are you going in for like a triple dipper? Like, don't you go into the clubhouse at like halfway or whatever to get like a little hot dog or something? You might just go get. It would be nice if they have like a little pop through
Yeah, a halfway house.
Yeah, like you get your tray of triple dippers, we call ahead.
Triple dipper, and then you have to swing a golf club. That might be a liability. I don't understand why
I feel like
Roback.
John Daly would love this.
My one thing is, what's Roback doing in this?
Disgusting,
partnership?
Roback.
Like,
What's a golf?
Why does this always happen? Like, why do we have a situation? They're like, it feels that part is so confusing, where they just morph into this partnership. Chili's, Roback, and a golf course just doesn't really make as much of a sense to me. But hey, who am I to say? Maybe it does improve sales.
Golfers are going to love
the
this.
People at Roback.
Golfers, the target audience is going to love it.
Yeah, for sure. There's another thing. I believe the creators will be in here in a second, but before they do, another thing, Nike is putting out these new shoes that is a Taylor Swift colorway on the Caitlin Clark shoe.
I mean, this is like your dream come true.
It is. I saw a tweet that was like they're going to sell 1 billion of these.
Oh, yeah.
There is going to. This is how you get the brand, get some sales going.
Wait, let's look at the shoes.
You're hitting every single target audience. You're hitting every. I mean, these are sick. These are. I would for sure buy these.
What's the lace material there?
It's like friendship bracelet coated.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. All right, let's get into
That's genius.
it. We've got Tremayne and Sollin, 2 creatives from Mother. They just did new work for Uber Teens, Gino, and we're going to bring them in to talk about it. Before we bring them in, if we want to show the spots that they made, we can do that, and then we'll talk with Tremayne and Sollin.
This year, I will not be late to school. I will be a punctual queen. My skincare routine will not affect my attendance.
The bands that got them all shook. These men's looking at me all shook.
This year, I will be an absolute unit. I will protein max. Becca from EP Bio will finally notice me.
Did someone just get like 4 protein shakes delivered?
Becca.
And here they are. Let's go. Tremayne and Sollin, welcome to the show. How are you both doing?
Hey, we're
Guys,
great.
very good. We've manifested being on here for a while, so it's nice
like
to
the
be on
spot.
B&E.
This is what it's all
Hey,
about.
That's what it's all about.
We're happy to have you. We're honored. We're honored to have
Thank you for
you.
having us.
We're honored too.
We're more honored. I just want to say
much honored.
We are very honored.
We should just spend the whole 15 minutes going
That's-
back and forth like this. Yeah.
That's what we do.
I want to kick things off here. Like getting into the mind of the target audience, like was it like miserable to like remember what it was like being a teen?
That's such a good
Yeah.
It was miserable realizing how old we are.
Yeah.
How wrong, like how much that generation has evolved since us. At the same time, we did have a lot in common, I think.
Yeah. There's some.
But they are ruthless. Like we
yeah.
checked in with them the whole time
Yeah.
during this process. And they thought everything was cringe.
Of course.
The things we thought was a little bit cringe, they were like,
Yeah.
no, we love that. Like A Millie by Lil Wayne, they thought that was hilarious. Any new Olivia Rodrigo stuff, they were like, oh, ew, no, that's cringe. You're trying to.
Damn.
But that was like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah. It was a very weird but wonderful kind of experiment getting back into the mind of a teenager. And as Sollin said, it was just like, okay, it wasn't that long ago since we were teen. And then you realize, okay, shit, it's like 15 years ago since we were that. So it was an interesting experiment, but very, very fun in the same way. Like channeling your 15-year-old, 16-year-old energy and realizing all the things that you used to think about, but now as a grown adult, you're coming up to 30.
I'm sure like even when you're like doing research and talking to the target audience, like the trends move so quickly. It seems like what's cool then, like the tung 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 sahur is not cool anymore.
No, that's
the 6'7".
I mean, that's still cool. That's still cool.
Riz, Delulu, like
Yeah.
all those types of things. I think that was one of the most interesting parts of the writing process was we were getting deep in the mind of a teenager. And as you said, like these kind of slang words and trends are so fleeting nowadays that something that you think could be like current this week may not hold up in about 2 months. So it was a really kind of like interesting litmus test of always going back and being like, okay, how much do we kind of take and steal from teen slang and teen kind of talk, and how much do we just kind of lean in like universal teen truths? And I think that was like a really interesting exercise throughout the whole process, like something like adding in one line that felt like it was like, leaning on a Riz or like other teens wrote, but immediately made it feel cringe or like forced. So that was kind of a really great kind of exercise that felt totally new to what we'd done before.
Yeah. What were the universal truths though? Just to like, you're like, okay, this
I think
is
this will always
clear.
hit,
Like
yeah.
this is gonna
Yeah.
work, and then we just need a little bit of
Yeah.
extra flair here. What
Exactly.
were those two things?
The universal truths is that you still have high school crushes.
Yeah.
You're still nervous for your first day of school. You still want to try to show up as a better version of yourself. You want to like shock everybody
Yeah.
and be so much more muscular for guys, unfortunately, which is not the best now. And
Yeah.
for girls, like just you want a fresher outfit. You
Yeah.
just want to look better. You want to be cooler than just a couple of months ago. And often that's very unrealistic. Like it's just you're just a person. It's been 2 months.
Yeah.
But they build a lot of tension around that
Yeah.
first day, that first almost like your comeback.
Yeah.
So that's still the same.
Yeah, a
that'll be
continual
the
thing that was
same.
popping up throughout the agency was the fact that everyone wanted to, all the guys wanted to have like washboard abs, and looked ripped for
Like,
day one.
realistic.
And I feel, yeah, completely unrealistic. And I think that's kind of the gap, or where the comedy comes from these spots, is where teens kind of see themselves and where they actually are. And I think that's what we should
That's
to play up.
trying to make it something real about too. Like you're
Yeah.
manifesting being a perfect punctual queen. Of course that's not gonna happen. And maybe
Yeah.
that's funny, maybe that's okay. Maybe it's more about that feeling in and of itself
Yeah, yeah.
than actually achieving that thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
immediately.
for sure. That's like it's the aspirational. I mean, I remember in high school, of course, like the honestly the most fun part was thinking about preparing for going up to my crush, knowing that after fourth period I would be walking past my crush, and it's just like getting ready for that moment is
Yeah.
so core, and it's pretty cool to hear the strategy of like, let's make the situation the human truth, and then you
Yeah.
can get fun with the dialogue, and like
Yeah,
that's where you
yeah,
can
yeah.
get really
Exactly.
into it.
You know what to
Yeah,
say,
and
it's
I-
how to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what grounded us and allowed us to like go and push the comedy a little bit further, was knowing that there was real human truth that everyone could like resonate with. And that like allowed us, I think we were really conscious of the tone of these spots, knowing that we're trying to market, we're trying to communicate with teens, we're trying to talk to them and meet them at their level or meet them at their like mindset, but without ever feeling like we're kind of ragging on them or making fun of them. And I think trying to come up with scenarios and setups that felt like inherent teen truths that everyone could see themselves in was a way that we could kind of like allow us to free ourselves to push a little bit of the dialogue, like punctual queen or like manifesting being an absolute unit.
Yes.
And that was kind of the fine balance and the fine little like kind of things that we were playing with throughout everything from pre-production into production.
Yeah, because the
yeah.
actual product itself, like, I'm assuming like parents are installing this for their teens to use, correct? Like,
Yeah.
so the fact that there are those universal things, like if a parent sees this, they're like, okay, this makes a lot of sense. I'm going through this right now as a parent. I'm going to install this,
Yeah.
put my credit card on it so the teen can use it. I'm assuming that's how it works.
Exactly.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it's something that they can remember, they are the ultimate. That's where they're the one who's actually buying the product. In
Yeah.
that sense. The teens, it's like a smart strategy to get the teens to be excited about it. Then they're gonna tell their parents to download it. But we kind of also need the parents on board here, to a certain extent.
Yeah, yeah. We kind of like the main ambition, both like from Mother and Uber internally, was creating something that did resonate with both the teens and parents could see their teens in these spots. I think that was an important thing, considering that we're making also TV ads as well. So you're going to a mass audience, so you wanted to make sure that it lands with both.
Were
kind of
you both
going
able
for
to be at the shoot? At the shoots?
We were.
So what was that like working with the actors, actresses, the people there? Because I feel like that's always a fun. Because you talk about like learning about the audience, then like you're actually interacting with the audience.
It was honestly one of the most fun experiences. Like we were using them as a sounding board throughout. I think
Cool.
we would say a line and they'll be like, I don't know how I feel about that, or like
They're so honest.
they're so honest.
It was
They're-
amazing.
they're
They don't even
radically
realize how mean
transparent.
they're being. They don't realize how mean they're being, which ends up
Yeah,
actually being
and they
so
didn't-
productive.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah.
did not care about advertising. They
Yeah.
were just there to have a fun and chill day
Yeah.
and get some free protein drinks.
Yeah.
They did not care about us. They had like zero, they had respect, but they had like zero. They were not scared of the director team of anything.
Yeah.
And they would comment on like ew, I would never wear that. And then we had to be
And then we
like,
just like would do it on the fly. I'm like, all right, yeah, we're changing that.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
then you're not gonna wear that. That's fine.
Yeah, and our director duo, Adam and Dave, well, like had the same mindset like throughout the whole thing. Like we would just go and just sense test or pressure test is like, okay, is this funny to you? Is this what you would wear? Is this how you would show up in this way? But we both had a funny moment backstage of Absolute Unit where we were in the hallway and we're just rolling through some of the tracks that we were just kind of testing out on both the spots. And essentially like this group of teens killed, I would say like 99% of the tracks that we were like showing to them and just being like, all too corny,
Humbling.
all
Like,
cringe.
genuinely thought we're cool.
So that was an interesting experience, but it actually made the work better, and I think it just made us kind of like sharpened the ways in that we were trying to like get this thing up and execute it to the best way possible. But yeah, an incredibly fun and humanizing experience working with teams.
It's I mean, if nothing else, it's humbling for sure. The other thing, fun fact, this duo came up with, if people remember, the Take a Nick Day. Gino, for the Knicks, when the Knicks won, you all came up with the idea to allow people. You got a doctor involved too. I thought that was the coolest part. So you got an actual doctor to write doctor's notes, pretty much, so that people could take a sick day for the championship parade. I want to know how you got a doctor to do this.
And we found him one day before. We had this idea 24 hours before he went live. And sometimes you just gotta do things, you know? You have a good idea, you just gotta do it.
You just gotta, it was honestly a case of just calling as many people as we know and just asking, do you know a doctor that's like currently free?
And the first doctors was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. You want me to lose my job?
Therapy here. This makes
Declan
sense.
Fishback. Shout out Declan Fishback.
What a legend.
What a legend. Incredible talent.
I think because of the hype, because they had just one. If it's almost like if we started this idea a month in advance, all doctors would be like, "What are you doing?"
Too much time to stress on whether this was great for my career or not.
It's just so hyped that I think you realized, like, I just gotta do this.
Yeah.
I'd like to do a little. I'd like to propose that we do a little case study, a little retrospection of if he's gotten more patients as a result,
or
is
he just requested a reel from us with the material. Because he has now gotten more requests as a doctor on TV and film.
It's amazing.
This is the start of something. I don't know.
We've just like skyrocketed, catapulted his career. I feel like we should.
I know. He just got a free ad campaign from one of the best agencies in the world. And you have doctors saying no to this? That's insane.
I am curious about, like, you know, writing doctor's notes and stuff, like, you know, is that okay and stuff? I mean,
no, we checked it legally.
We did. It had to go through about 15 rounds of legal.
It's legal for him to write a note if that is his, like, that's his conclusion after hearing your symptoms. It's not, it's a little bit sketchy if you actually work at a clinic, like if you full-time hire, that could of course be a little bit sketchy for the repetition of the clinic, but any doctor is allowed to do that.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm curious about. You know, like, what are the obstacles? How do you get through it?
Everyone remembers the kid. Everyone remembers the Uber teen growing up that had a doctor as a parent, and it was like this kid got to take every day off for vacation, and they got a doctor's note saying it, and you're like,
there you go.
Yeah.
It's a cheat code. Well, thank you both so much for joining the show. Congratulations on the great work for Uber Teen. If there's a teen in your life, go get an Uber Teen account. Come on.
Get an Uber Teen account, free rides, free eats for a week. It's a pretty amazing deal, and who doesn't love a freebie? So
come on.
Thanks to our Uber team as well.
Appreciate you both. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, Gina, you want to hit him with a tracksuit ad read before we bring in the biggest guest of the year?
This episode is brought to you by Tracksuit. Listen up here. We all know this is an ad. Before your eyes and ears glaze over, though, answer one question. When's the last time your strategy was based on current data? Most brand tracking runs on last year's numbers. Tracksuit doesn't. It's continuous brand health data. I'm talking awareness, consideration, perception. It's updated every month, so you're never bringing a stagnant deck to a live conversation. Bar. Think of it as your GPS, not your rear view mirror. Shows you exactly where you stand before you make your next move. Tracksuit up and running in 30 days. Go check it out at gotracksuit.com. Go Tracksuit, go Tracksuit, go.
Go Tracksuit, go Tracksuit, go. exclusive data partner. I think in any moment here we'll have Glenn. Are we good to go?
You got a thumbs up. Oh, we got a pause.
Glenn's going to be coming on here in a second to talk about Four Walls whiskey. We got it right here. We went and got the freaking whiskey, and he did it obviously with his co-founders, the cast, the main characters of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. We're going to talk about the marketing campaign behind it with him, and whatever the hell else comes up. Gino, how about that?
Let's do it. Let's bring him in.
Let's go, Glenn Howerton.
Welcome to the show.
Glenn, how are you?
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining. Your background looks fantastic. Is that
Thank
a pool?
you.
Is that a pool back there?
That's a pool back there. Yeah,
big
it's a
deal.
little blown out. You know what I mean? I don't have any professional lighting here in my backyard. So.
Well, Glenn, obviously we're the professionals here when it comes to a set in the studio, so we would be happy to help you out next time.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Let's get into it.
So let's talk about Four Walls and you and the brand itself. Coming out with a new campaign here, playing off an old school PSA. Can you talk about the inspiration for this campaign and what you guys are doing today?
Well, I mean, the inspiration behind the campaign is pretty simple. It's just trying to get people in the same physical spaces again. We've just gotten out of the habit of hanging out with our friends in person, I think, and we're just on our devices too much. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's pretty much as simple as that. And I mean, I think that while we don't believe that you have to have alcohol involved in order to hang out with people in a physical space, it is a social lubricant that we've been using for thousands and thousands of years. So it has its uses, it has its purpose, and and it can be helpful, especially when you're talking to people that you've never met, or meeting new people, or meeting people who are different from you, or whatever. It's just a little bit easier with
Brings
a little
people
bit
together.
It brings them together. And I mean, what can we, writing for a commercial versus writing for the show? I mean, season 18 premiered last week. Congratulations. An unbelievable run. Already, it's at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know if you look at the stats or the data, but of course we do for the research. But so obviously the writing on It's Always Sunny is phenomenal. It's incredible. How was it stepping into the shoes of now you're writing a commercial for your own brand?
I mean, really what it comes down to is you're trying to figure out what your purpose is, what it is that you have to say, whether it's what you're trying to say as a show or what you're trying to say as a whiskey brand, and what your reason for existing is, right? It's examining that. It's like, why do we exist? Why, what is the purpose of our whiskey within this space? And, so once we started really thinking about that, it really became pretty clear to us, especially coming out of the pandemic, which was the big inspiration for the brand to begin with, was to support folks in the industry that had been affected by people not going out of their houses anymore. So once we were thinking about it in those terms, it really became clear to us that our purpose was to bring people back together into, again, like I said, I keep saying it, but like into physical spaces, like into bars. And I mean, bars have just traditionally always been a great place to meet new folks and to get together with your friends and learn about new music and do karaoke. And, it's a great way to have an experience with other people which you wouldn't otherwise have had.
Yeah, so when you, I just have a random question. When you, Rob, and Charlie are like writing, when you all get into a rut, is there anything that you all do to break through and break out of it? Because I think it's famously you all disagree a lot. You have the whole podcast where you talk about all these disagreements with your writing. But is there anything that you all do when you're in a big rut?
When you say a rut, you mean like we're stuck on something?
Yeah,
or
you're stuck on something. You can't figure out the line, the wording, something like that.
Dude, there's nothing you can do really. I mean, honestly, what we'll do is we'll go for a walk. That's usually like our big thing, is wherever it is that we're working. Hopefully we're working on a nice lot or in my backyard or something. And we'll just go for a walk. And that usually helps clear our heads a little bit. But the rest of it is, you just kind of bang your head against a wall the entire day. And some days are better than others. And, what we do is we like to leave a lot of space for just personal anecdotes and people just telling stories of things that have happened in their lives. Because, in the early days of the show, we used to get a little, we would feel like we were getting too sidetracked when we were just, it's a bunch of funny people in a room telling jokes and being funny and being silly and doing bits. It's a lot of doing bits, and we would feel like we're like, oh, okay, we got to get back to work. Like, we're spending too much time doing these bits. Like, we need to get back to work. And then we kind of very quickly realized that most of our best ideas came from the doing bits anyway. And from people telling their stupid stories. But perfect example of that is when somebody came in the writer's room and was like, telling us a story about how their friend's cat got stuck in a wall, and at almost any other job, that would be the kind of thing where you're like, oh, that's a cool story, but we got to get back to work, but with a show like ours, it's obviously it's those stories that lead to the best stories for the episodes. So
it's crazy.
So yeah, so really it's a lot of times it's like being like, all right, we've been working, we're hitting a wall. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about football. Let's talk about our childhoods. Let's just talk about anything. You know what I mean? Because then something usually clicks.
This is something like cat in the wall. Was there any other one like that? Is there any other one like jumps to mind where you're like, this happened, this is a scene, and because it actually happened in our lives? Or is it like actually like most of the stuff is kind of an inspiration of what happened?
Well, yeah, it's hard for me to remember specifics a lot of times, but I do remember very specifically in season 5 when we were working on the road trip episode. We were all in the writer's room, and one of our writers, Scott Martyr, who now runs Rick and Morty, he was telling us that his oh no, he was him. Yeah, no, he did that. There were certain fruits that he'd never had. And we were like, what do you mean? Like, he'd never had a blueberry. Sure. He'd never had a pear, And so we were like, oh, that's so funny. We got to figure out a way to put that in an episode. And, usually when something like that comes up, we put it on a little note card, we stick it up on the wall, and we're like, I don't know where this goes, but it's funny. It's making us laugh. If it's making us laugh, we're like, we'll try to figure out a way to incorporate it into something. So when we were working on the road trip episode and trying to come up with all the ways in which we could get stuck in Philly and never actually leave,
right?
The idea of going to the Italian market and getting Charlie some fruits that he'd never had before was just a funny idea. So, that's just a good example. That's just another example of that kind of thing happening in the room.
But the spilling the cereal while you're driving, is that based on a real thing?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's obviously, that's probably the most prime example of.
And that's real. You actually eat cereal while you're driving.
Well, no, I don't. So, okay. All right, let me clear something up here.
This is a good moment. I feel like we're allowing the opportunity for Glenn now to clear the air on what many people consider one of your biggest flaws.
Eating cereal in the car. I know I've got my defenders out there, by the way, on this, and I will defend it to my dying day. Mm-hmm. I did not spill. Okay, here's what happened. So I had it was like I don't know, the third season. It was after the end of the third season of the show, and we were editing the third season, and I bought my very first brand new car. I'd never bought a brand new car in my entire life, but I had a brand new car, and I was eating cereal in the car on the way to the editing room, and and it was a bit, but it was like one of the, let me explain. It was a big bowl. Okay, and the cereal was way down, so it's not. There was plenty of slosh.
Yeah, there's a lot of room, a lot of gas,
slosh room.
Yeah, a lot of room for slosh. Okay, not entirely different from if you had a drink in your hand. Like in the old days, people would drink coffee in their car and they didn't have a lid to it. They would just they would hold it like this, and they would drive like they would drive a stick shift and drink a cup of coffee and drive a car. You know what I mean? Like I used to eat lunch in my car driving a stick shift. Okay. These things are possible if you're a skilled driver like I am. And I would only take bites of the cereal when I was like at a stoplight or something,
Right.
Anyway, so I'm at a stoplight and I just get rear-ended. Like I was fully stopped. I had been stopped for like 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes. That's too long. I'd been stopped for probably a full minute.
Yeah.
And then I just got hit from behind, a guy going like 20 miles an hour. And so the cereal just like went flying forward and just blasted my windshield and like got all up in my vents and all in the buttons and everything. It was a brand new car. I was so upset.
So you took
anyway,
that. You're like, we gotta use that, obviously.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I think that was one of those things where I was so incensed and upset about it. And I came in, bitching about it. And the guys were just laughing at me as we always do with each other. Whenever any one of us comes in a room, ranting about something, it's always funny. And we just, we always, rag on the person. But, yeah, so it had to make its way into an episode, and that made its way into an episode in a big way because obviously the entire episode is that's the impetus.
So, that's one where everyone can put themselves in one or the other person's shoes. It's like this perfect scenario that can very much divide right down the middle of people who agree or disagree with you.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it seems like with the Four Walls marketing, like you're kind of tapping into
Way to bring it back.
Bits.
Way to bring it back, Gino.
Thank you. You're tapping into some of those bits. I believe you had Chase Utley in some of the Four Walls marketing in the past as well, getting the drink inside the stadium, the baseball stadium in Philly. So how has that been? How fun has that been to kind of revisit some of the classics in the marketing, towing the line between the brand and the show and you? Talk us through that.
It's great. I mean, it's fun. I mean, look, an excuse for the three of us, me, Rob, and Charlie, to get together and hang out is always welcome because even though we obviously see a lot of each other when we're working, with us all having families and busy lives outside of the show, we admittedly we don't, and us getting older too, we don't hang out as much outside of work as we used to. It was one of the things I loved about doing the podcast too, was that it was just an opportunity for us. I mean, those episodes of the podcast, I mean, those are very, I mean, we're turning it on a little bit, right? Because it is entertainment, but they're not entirely, those podcast episodes are not entirely different from what it's like to be in a room with just the three of us hanging out and just talking about stuff. So Four Walls has been a great opportunity for us to kind of get into our own physical spaces with each other outside of work and, have a drink with each other and like the old days.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
I saw in an interview that you did about the whiskey, going on, it's kind of hard for you all to go to a bar because you say, I believe in the interview you said that's where your target audience is. All the people that love Always Sunny are probably people that do spend time at bars. Does that kind of suck? You can't really go to a bar in the same way that a couple schmucks like Gino and I could.
I could it depends on the bar, right? If it's a fancy hotel bar or something like that, and I'm by myself, I can go and it doesn't turn into a whole scene or whatever. But if any combination of us goes to a bar together, no matter where it is, no matter how fancy or how divey it is, it's going to turn into a whole thing. So we just have to prepare ourselves for it. And sometimes we'll do it just for fun, pop into a bar for 10 minutes as a group and just remind ourselves of the love. But it's usually, but I mean, we don't really even do that anymore unless it's for Four Walls. But again, Four Walls has been a great excuse for us to do that again too. Because I mean, my favorite bars are dive bars. My favorite, those are the bars that I grew up going to. And when I say grew up, I mean, in my 20s.
Of course.
Grew up in my 20s. But I mean, those nights in bars were the inspiration behind so many of the great nights that we had that led to us making this show. It's just another reason why it's so important for people to get into the same room with each other. I mean, it's one thing for us to do this like Zoom, and I appreciate this more than a phone call, certainly, but there's nothing that really replaces being in the same space with each other and feeding off each other's energy. And, there's just nothing can replace that.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn, listen, if you do want to go to a bar, call it New York City, honestly, wherever, Gino and I will offer some security, perhaps.
Yeah, we
maybe,
do that.
Maybe allow us to kind of, we create a perimeter
We do
of
that.
sorts.
Yeah.
Maybe that could make things a little bit easier on you.
Yeah.
Well, next time I'm in the city, we should definitely do that. We should definitely go out and grab a drink somewhere. That'd be fun.
Oh, this is also a pretty awesome move to be able to ask that live, Glenn, because you have to
you
say
have
yes.
to say yeah.
The implication.
The implication.
Yeah, you have to.
No, but I mean, it's true that like even I've been guilty of getting a little bit lazy about going out. Right. Whether it's here or wherever I am, it's just these stupid devices that we have. They've made it so convenient and easy to not leave your own, little room. And, I actually do welcome any excuse to kind of go out and hang out with folks, especially like, cool guys like yourselves that I've never met, until just now, and, have a couple drinks and all of a sudden that's when the real fun starts to happen, right? Yeah. That's when the real kind of crazy stories come out.
Of course. Absolutely. Well, Glenn, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't try and at least take a sip of the Four Walls with you and give a quick review if you would allow us to do it.
I don't have any with me right now, but I'll tell you what, I had a few too many of those last night, and I'll admit I'm a little cloudy this morning because
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did it a little. I should have started earlier.
This is good. It is smooth. That is because you mentioned that it's an alcohol that you want to spend the whole night with, right? Like you want it. It's kind of on purpose, not like the highest proof, right?
Yeah. We very purposely didn't want to make something that was like a big barrel strength, top shelf, super expensive, slightly inaccessible, gross celebrity brand kind of thing. We wanted to do something that was a little more down and dirty, something that felt a little more on brand also for us and for the show, was to do just an Irish whiskey with a little bit of rye in it, do an Irish American spin on the whole whiskey thing. And like you said, make it the kind of thing where you can do shots of it throughout the night, as opposed to doing 2 shots and you're so hammered you can't do any more, you're done.
That's fair.
It's very good. Everybody go get yourself some Four Walls. Please drink responsibly or not. I don't know.
I don't know if we have to say it. Like, do you have drink responsibly?
Yes, drink
or else.
I mean, it's one of those things where like, can we just take a little personal responsibility in this world now? It's like, yes, of course we should say drink responsibly, of course. And you should drink responsibly. But kind of, if you don't already know that, then that's not really on us. That's kind of on your parents.
That's right.
That's a failure of a different kind. It's got nothing really to do with us. If you're not going, I'll put it this way: if you're not going to drink responsibly, you're not going to start drinking responsibly just because the 3 of us are sitting here right now telling you.
That's right. And honestly, Glenn, you're amazing. But if you have to rely on Glenn to tell you to drink responsibly, you have bigger issues going on in your life.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, Glenn, thank you so much for taking the time. We really appreciate it. And everyone go get some Four Walls whiskey. And Glenn, next time you're in New York, excited to have a beer with you.
Yeah, I would love that. I'm serious. I'm actually not kidding. I'm not just saying that because we're on the show. I would enjoy that. That'd be really fun.
Love it. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the support. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Glenn. Glenn Howerton. I feel like that went well.
You did a great job.
I feel like that went well.
Yeah, the whiskey's good too. I'll tell you what.
It's smooth.
Because my favorite whiskey up until maybe now has always been Jameson. We went to the Jameson factory. It's an Irish whiskey, obviously.
I think it's time to switch over.
It might be time.
It might be time. We're going to switch over to our next guest after this quick read, Gino, because IAB Creative Fronts is right around the corner on September 15th. Listen up. I want to talk about it. If you're in marketing, media buying, or anything creator economy, mark your calendar right now. September 15th in New York City, IAB is running IAB Creative Fronts. It's the first upfront style event built entirely around creators. This is where brands, agencies, and the platforms actually driving commerce and culture right now show you how creator-led strategy is running the whole funnel. If you're making media investment decisions this year, this is the room to be in before those decisions get made. September 15th, New York City, IAB Creative Fronts. It's free.
Be there or be square.
It's free $99. But Gino, who's our next guest?
I'll tell you what's free next. Free insights coming your way from Linda Boff, who is the CEO of Said Differently. But I'm curious. you go, she was the former global CMO of GE. She was there for like 2 decades. She was crushing it there. You go from brand side to agency side. Now, that is something we don't see every single day. So she's going to have a lot to say here. Linda Boff, welcome to the show.
Come on, Linda.
It's so fun to be on. Thanks for having me. I'm a big fan. Congratulations on what you
Thanks
guys
for
have
coming
done.
on. Thank you so much.
You're a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Fame.
Not a lot of people that work in any sort of real corporate job can say that they're in a Hall of Fame, Linda. But you are a Hall of Famer. How does that feel? Is that cool?
It's so cool, guys. It's so cool. It's one of those things where you look around at other people who've been inducted into the Hall of Fame and you kind of can't believe it, or at least I couldn't believe it. It was really meaningful. So thank you. It's nice.
Of course.
Nice way to start this conversation.
Of course. This is an old interview trick, Linda. Now we go for the hard
Now we
balls.
go for the hard
Now we
Why
trap
would you
ya.
ever go
You walk
from brand
into this
side to
trap.
agency side? That sounds ridiculous
yeah,
to me.
Did that good sandwich. So yeah.
But the real first question is, I am curious, like, what sparked the transition from, going from brand side, being a global CMO, to now starting an agency, being a part of an agency lifestyle?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I was, as you both said nicely, I was at GE for 20 years, long time to be any place. And I was not just there, but I was sort of in love with the company and in love with what we did, and made the call in the last year or so that I was there. We decided to split GE into 3 separate companies, which was absolutely the right move for the company, right move for share owners. But for me, the right move was to try something different. And I made a little decision tree about what I wanted to do next. And the things that were on there were, number one, I didn't want to work for another brand. GE was sort of my brand. We were married, or whatever, funny analogy you want to use. 2, I wanted to keep operating. And 3, I wanted to do something I'd never done before. So the idea of going to the agency side after working with, and I really believe this, the best in the business, was kind of intoxicating. I thought, I've seen what I love. Maybe I can bring something new to it.
Interesting.
So how does your perspective changed on, like, you spent so much time on the brand side, now you're on the agency side, your clients are the brand. Has that been weird for you? Has it made you, like, reconsider or think about things that you did when you were on the brand side that you didn't realize maybe were different now?
So much so. So I think, all things considered, I was a pretty good client. I guess my agency partners can tell you one way or the other, but I thought I was a pretty good client. What I've come to realize is there were too many times where I didn't give a quick enough yes or a quick enough no. And I now understand the pain of a slow no. And it's pain. I mean, you guys know this. So decisiveness when you're on the brand side is really important, because agencies hang on your every word. And they believe when you say, we're going to get back to you, that maybe they're going to get back to you. So I think there's, honesty, transparency, as in so many things, is really true. I think that what I believe I appreciated but didn't appreciate enough is when you're inside, you think that everybody knows what you know, right? They know all the nuances of your brand. It's just not the case, right? And both the advantage of being on the agency side of having fresh eyes is a wonderful thing, period. I don't think anything ever replaces that. The disadvantage is you can read, you can, be close to your clients, but you don't have all the nuances. And so you have to listen really hard to what's going on and not always presume that you know better.
I wanted to play a fun game.
Oh.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Is it okay if we play a game, Linda?
I love games.
Okay, great.
So
Let's see what game we're going to play.
It's a really simple game. It's called Here to Stay or We'll Go Away.
Ooh.
So Linda, you've been in the industry for some time on both now the brand side and the marketing side. You've seen the trends come and go. So I have 3 things I just want to ask you about, and you can answer here to stay or we'll go away. How does that sound?
Great. This is exciting. I didn't even know about this. Linda, me and you are just as unaware
and
that
Jack,
this
you
is
can
happening.
answer too.
Maybe I'll get in there. Maybe.
Nobody cares what you have to say.
Linda can answer first, and then I will just agree with
All
whatever
right,
she
I
says.
want to hear Jack's answers, so
Okay,
go
cool.
for it.
All right, Linda. So the first one up, these micro series, brands telling short stories through like serialized episodes instead of like one big campaign. Is it here to stay or will go away?
Here to stay. We just did a micro drama for Marc Jacobs, and I have to tell you, if you get it right, if you hit it well, it's a beautiful thing.
Interesting.
Is it what are you seeing there is like the main things that it unlocks maybe with the audience, or like it just performs well? Like how are you measuring that it's a beautiful experience?
It's a beautiful thing. I think word of mouth, virality, or a couple of the things. I think, like anything, I mean, I've always believed you could tell a story in, 6 seconds or 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I think something, I call them micro dramas, potato, potato, I think allow brands to bring in a sensibility that doesn't necessarily get as contained in a traditional media format. I think they're fun. I think when you get them right, and listen, I think we all know not everybody gets them right.
Right.
I like them a lot. I know they're a little bit of the moment, but I don't think they're going anywhere too soon. Jack, what about you?
Yeah, that's a great transition, Linda. Thank you for bouncing that one back to me.
She's very good.
Hey, listen, I agree with you in the sense that the ones that do hit have outsized performance, and I love the fact that it gives someone a reason to go back to the brand's profile as opposed to just like a one-off thing, because it gives you a reason to go to the profile to watch the other parts of the series, which I feel like sometimes people go viral, but like people don't really care that much about the brand. They just care about that singular piece of content, which I feel like is a pretty interesting way to look at it. If you can get people to actually go to the brand page.
Lovely.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, I know you have 2 more, but doesn't it all come back to, in some ways, knowing how to tell a great story?
Mm-hmm.
And you can know how to tell a great story in a lot of different formats.
Right.
But I'm a big believer in telling a great story.
Yeah.
All right, which leads, it seems like I already know the answer to the next 2, but brands creating music videos. Gap and Cat's Eye is like the lead staple right now for this, but advertising that people essentially consume like entertainment, here to stay or will go away.
Well, you hit on the proverbial example. I mean, Gap is just crushing it. Fabi and the team have done a phenomenal job, continue to. It's an interesting thing, if you'll allow me a GE example, in the 50s. So really a long time ago, GE had something called the GE Theater that was hosted by a gentleman named Ronald Reagan. It wasn't music, but it sure was entertainment. So, I don't want to qualify, but I will qualify a little bit. Gap did this perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
It was right for the brand. They cast it beautifully. I think if you can entertain and make somebody fall in love with your brand, how do you not win?
Yeah, and it's interesting that they were kind of doing this back in the 90s. Like Gap kind of was doing this, and now they've brought it back. But what's interesting to me is that there's this whole new audience that didn't even know that they were doing it in the 90s, and it feels new, which is so interesting to have the heritage.
100%. I mean, Calvin's doing the same thing, aren't they? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the campaign that I think they're doing a wonderful job. This goes back to Brooke Shields and Calvin's, which, do you guys remember? I remember.
We saw it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We saw it, especially I think with the resurgence of like the Sydney Sweeney kind of the coverage there. I think a lot of parallels, totally. If it was the Dean's one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have talked about nostalgia. I think the Gap calls it nostalgia. It's playing really well.
Yeah.
If you put yourself in the mind or the brains of like another apparel brand that's a competitor to Gap, is it kind of tough because if you try to do a music video type of entertainment, you're immediately going to be set to the standard of Gap, and like now it's like you can't really beat that. It was perfectly done.
I have long believed, before I ran said differently, that the brand that follows, that's number 2, number 3, number 4, it's diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Do I think a Levi's could pull it off? I think they would do it differently.
Right.
But I think it's a little perilous to try to be the second to do something. I mean, as putting my agency hat on, nobody relishes the assignment when they say, okay, could you give me something just like Cat's Eye?
Right.
Right?
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough assignment.
It's a tough one.
Right.
Last one here. Here to stay or will go away. Influencers becoming the creatives. You know, they're getting brought earlier and earlier to help shape the idea rather than receiving the finished brief and posting it. Do you think that will be here to stay, or they'll realize influencers are not as good creative directors as the agency folks?
This is a hard yes/no answer. I'll tell you why. Because I think that the definition to me of a creator requires a brand to let go to some degree, for the creator to be able to be authentic and to appeal to the audience that they've built, similar with an influencer. That's a hard thing for brands, is to let go. It's a really, really hard thing. So at the same time, the audience attention span and simply numbers, as you guys know, is, creators have huge numbers. Influencers have huge numbers. They put cable to shame. They put, some other media channels to shame. So I think there's a couple things that have to go on that I think will happen, but it hasn't quite happened yet. I think right now for a lot of brands, influencers or creators represent experimentation, but the money is not really there. So will the money start to shift over there? Will we see that? It's a question. I think we will. I think it's sort of a when and how much, sort of back in the day, how much did you shift to digital marketing? And I think the other is being able to give away some of what brands can find it really hard to give away, which is the reins, so to speak. You have to know your brand awfully well to be comfortable letting somebody play around with it.
Totally.
Yeah, that's what's interesting. I feel like there's, we're doing like our student advertising competition, and there's a real internship on the line. Like whoever wins is going to actually get an internship to an agency. And so the judging for it, we were talking with the agency that's going to be judging it, and it's kind of talking about how they're going to be looking for the ideas and the executions and the campaigns that actually will tie back to the brand. Like you really need to know the brand versus like in a lot of times past when we were doing this competition, it was just for like the glory pretty much of winning.
Yeah.
It was like, who's gonna have the craziest idea? We just wanna see the biggest imagination.
Yeah, now you got the CMO of Dove Men that's gonna be looking at this too, who's also judging it. So it changes things a little bit.
But it's interesting that like there's levels to it. And so like when you bring in creators to do their thing, I think that if you're looking to like drive it back to the business and not just create buzz, there's different levels to it that I think advertising agencies have gotten very, very good at.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, so much of it, I think, comes back to knowing your brand. I mean, the brands that we've had the opportunity to work with at Said Differently really range. Marc Jacobs knows Marc Jacobs. They know the DNA. They know the DNA of the business, of the man. Well on the other side of the spectrum, you have a company like Brookfield, this huge investment management company who knows their brand equally well, but is stepping onto the stage right now and introducing their brand. So it varies so much. It's why I, if you'll allow me a moment, like the way we're set up, because we kind of specialize at Said Differently in specializing. We put a completely different team on each of these pieces of business. There's nothing new about that. That's agency life. It's just that none of them work for us, right? They're all part of a talent network. So when we cast, we sort of cast from the world. We don't cast from the halls. We have no halls, so to speak. So I don't know. I find in the agency world, the ability to be as nimble as possible and then work with brands that really understand their DNA can be a winning combination.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I think you're taking the best part of an ad agency with your model right now and just kind of like hammering in on the neutral third party perspective, bringing in like random brains that are good for this specific problem. Like you built the agency around that format. Is that correct?
So correct. Like I listened to your episode when you had Michael Ahmet on. Michael, when I was at GE, BBDO was our agency. Michael was there pre-FCB. Now he's back again, obviously. Yep. So the round table we created as a brand had Michael there, had Gary Vaynerchuk there, had Jason Harris, had Benjamin Palmer, because we were trying as a brand to extract the best of the best. Who had the best social mind? Who had the best, at that point, TV mind? I can say that because that was true at the time, et cetera, et cetera. So I've always been a fan, so to speak, of this string of pearls. And I think it's part of why I was attracted not just to the agency side, but to Said Differently specifically, is this idea of being able to tailor a team. Because I think in a world where I do think small is beautiful, no surprise. I think boutique is important, a boutique mindset. But if you can bring boutique and scale together, which is what we've tried to do, I think everybody wins.
Interesting. Is the hardest part like the casting process? Because I mean, that's like this is the biggest part. How do you approach that to know that someone's going to be the correct person for a certain project?
Yeah. I mean, bingo. That's the hardest part. It's art and science, right? The people in our talent bank, we have about 1,000 or so, always adding, every now and then subtracting, are people who are a degree or two of separation. Right. So they're not, some list we weirdly bought somewhere. They're people we either know or know of. That helps. There's we have a taxonomy where we know who are specialists in fashion versus finance versus IT, but there's chemistry. And I really believe, and this is part of our secret sauce. It is the fact that we have somebody, ex-Ogilvy person, actually, you may know her, Lauren Iola, who came to us and is our talent recruiter. And together with Lauren, it is like, I don't know, casting the starting five of the Knicks or something, right?
Yeah.
How do they work together? How do they both play their position but know how to play as a team? And it's, I think that's where our differentiation comes in, because we spend so much time on that.
Yeah, you got to build in that team building time. Absolutely. I was curious, like, what would you ask Jack if he's trying to get on the roster? What are some of those things that, how do you get at his background?
Maybe for like Mark Jacobs, if you're
you want to get on the roster, Jack? You coming over?
I'm always looking. I've always got one eye out there.
Yeah, he's always
just in case this doesn't
Said
work out.
Differently in Starbucks. He's always trying to get a job at Starbucks. He would quit right now for Starbucks.
I would quit right now for a lot of jobs, buddy.
I'll see you in court. I will see you in court.
Yeah, exactly. You guys have too good a thing going. Don't quit. So it's, I have always believed there's hard skills and soft skills. And, Jack, we would hire you for Mark Jacobs if you had a certain sensibility. So the team on Mark Jacobs used to work at Vice, used to work at High Snobbity. Like they have that sensibility, right? I think that's super important. They get the brand. And, not everybody gets every brand. So that's a piece of it. And then there's technical skills. Can you write? Can you produce? Can you design? So it's a combination. So I don't know, Jack, I think I should interview you later, but
that's fair. Now the sensibility part, of course, I'm very sensible. Everyone says it about me. My my nickname in high school was Sensible. Sensible Jack is what they called me growing up. So
I don't think you're going to get the job, buddy. I think you're good.
However, do not know how to read and write, but
he knows how to yap, though.
I can definitely talk.
You're a good talker.
I can definitely talk. It's very interesting. Very interesting to hear that.
It's a good.
That's kind of
model.
cool. I mean, it's interesting to hear the companies and the experience that you just mentioned, because it's those kinds of media companies. It's kind of an interesting way to look at it.
Right, because it's not, I'll just stay on this example for 10 more seconds. It's not just fashion. It's a certain view of fashion, right? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Well, Linda,
thank you so much for coming on. Wishing you all the best and Said Differently.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it. Again, love the show. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you, Linda. That was Linda, Hall of Famer, legend, president of the CMO Network for Forbes, and also the CEO of Said Differently. Doing things a little differently.
You can said that again.
Hell yeah. That four walls was hitting.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Feeling good.
Four walls.
What a show. Maybe the best show ever.
I had a good time.
Potentially the best show ever. Someone in the comments, I believe in the LinkedIn comments, shout out Alex, said, this was in regards when we had the Glenn interview. The fact that the story that Glenn was talking about is lining up with the clip that well is insane work by JR.
Nice.
That's one for the highlight reel.
He gave a shaka.
He gave it.
He gave a shaka. You couldn't see it. He gave you one of these.
How'd the show go? Ellie, how'd you feel about the show? Do we not have? We don't have.
Is it Thursday?
It's okay. Today is Thursday, so it's the end of the shows for this week. But Ellie, maybe just a thumbs up, a thumb up, 2 thumbs up from Ellie. Svaya, how did you feel about it? 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
JR,
2 thumbs up.
it's
That's all
a
we
clean
care
sweep.
about is just what they feel about the show.
If I had fun, well, take it from Glenn. If they laughed, if they had fun, then they knew they had to put it into an episode.
And I heard Glenn's gonna get drinks with us.
I know.
We're gonna clip that, and I'm gonna post that day 1 of me posting until we get drinks with Glenn. Day 2.
Glenn is the GOAT. That was awesome. That was a cool one. We're back next week on Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. If you're just joining now, feel free to rewind. We're going to post the full episode as well on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Yep.
Anything else from you, Gino? I mean, we got the weekend. I'm going back to Chicago this weekend for a bachelor party for our boy Buck.
You got you're going to Wrigley Field for a Cubs game?
Going to a Cubs game. That'll be fun.
I got to start packing up my apartment, moving to the East Village on the 1st.
When are you moving?
On the 1st. So I got to figure stuff out,
I just got outdoor furniture for my terrace patio.
Outdoor furniture? How does that even work in New York?
10,000% getting a TaskRabbit.
Is it for a little patio?
Yeah, for my little terrace patio.
Nice. What you get a little grill?
No, I don't know how to grill.
I mean,
I guess I could learn.
You can learn.
I could learn, but we'll see. You got to move? That sucks.
Yeah, no, it is a disaster.
Are you going to do that? Are you going to do the Pretty in Pink storage, piece of cake storage company and do a couple stories?
Magical Moving. They treat me well. They're very kind. They're cheaper too.
Are you going to do?
This is not an ad read, but
are you going to do the thing where you do a couple day in the life video of moving and then you get the free?
No, because I don't want that's they didn't offer. I told them, I asked.
Did you ask?
No.
You should have.
I did ask Xbox because we hit 55K Instagram followers, and I did make a public statement on a story, although we can't really dig it up, but I did make a public statement saying if we hit 55K followers before Labor Day, we would get an Xbox for the office. So I hit up Xbox to send us an Xbox itself, and we'll have somebody come on and celebrate.
Oh, yeah, giving us
they're not just going to be gaming while...
Yeah, and you'll be gaming.
I'm going to be gaming during most of the live streams.
Most of the day at work, I will be gaming.
Yeah.
And get back into it.
I was thinking doing a little picture-in-picture frame of me playing Flappy Bird or something, whatever the Xbox games are, while we're watching this.
Call of Grand Theft Duty or whatever.
Yeah.
That's all I got. That's all I got too. Thanks for joining the show. Appreciate everyone. This has been presented by Tatari. Go check them out. Tatari. They're the best. If you're trying to bring TV into your media mix for your clients, or you are a brand looking to break into TV, linear TV is still goated, I think, based on the stats that we hear. So go check them out. But thank you so much for joining the show. We'll see you next week.